Hello, YouTube. How are you doing this fine day? Me, myself, I'm doing well enough. Now, I wanted to play on a Dexterity build and discuss the next generation of Dexterity builds. You could steal my stats, and I would advise against that. I have too much int and too much faith because I wanted to toy around with other weapons, and I didn't even get to it in this video. So if you want to optimize the build, take away as much int and faith as you need, depending on what weapons you want to use. But I wanted to speak a little bit about the next generation of dexterity weapons thanks to the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and oh my goodness, there are so many new weapons. Dex builds are eating well. It wouldn't surprise me if dexterity builds are in the top 2 in terms of best builds, and I say that with large, exaggerated air quotes. They are good. I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm not sure if it's the best 2, but it wouldn't surprise me if the strongest builds are a Dex build and a Faith build in this iteration of Shadow of the Erdtree, or Elden Ring. First thing I wanted to note was the Rakshasa, I believe it's called, this specialty great katana with the Weed Cutter Ash of War. Unlike the other great katanas, I believe it has hyper armor on more of its normal moveset, and of course it has hyper armor on its Ash of War, which got buffed. The Ash of War on the Rakshasa now is faster. It has hyper armor, you can chain it into itself, it is oppressive, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, about how I can be rewarded for monkey mashing the Raksasa's Ash of War and win trades all the time. It is deadly. But there are so many other weapons you also get on a dexterity build. Backhand blades, as being shown on screen. I can monkey mash in people's face and kind of win there too. These people were laggy. All reason head went out the window. I'm not very good with backhand blades. They don't really appeal to me. I think they look dumb, but I will admit they are very good. Oh, I wanted to show off this clip because I wanted you to see what happens when a Swift Slash player runs into a Moonveil player. They're killing each other off to the side there, and we're going to witness their final moments together, beautiful as they are. But there are lots and lots of other weapons that Dex builds get access to now that are just, they feel top of the line. The Sword of Night is a katana that has an Ash of War that hits 3 times. You can charge it up. It's great for roll catches. If you break somebody's posture, I believe, with the last hit of the Ash of War, which I think is pretty likely, of the Sword of Night, you can use an R2 and get a 5-hit combo. You could set up that combo by doing, like, if you had another katana, you could do a crouch attack, hit him twice, roll catch him with the Ash of War, and then hit him with an R2. That's a 7-hit string. That's pretty deadly. That's crazy. What else is there? There's the Claws of Night, I believe they are called. They are a hybridization of the throwing knives and the, well, claws, of course. Duh. And the Scatter Shot, I think it's called. It's the Ash of War, where you throw a shotgun spread of knives. Does immense bleed, does great damage, often headshots, great for last hits. It's okay if you've got good spacing. You can shotgun somebody point blank. It'll really chunk people, have good bleed build up. What else is there? At the end of that last clip, I used the Falks, which it's insane because it's a set of curved swords. They have bleed. They have great dex scaling. The Ash of War is a charge that swings either when you hit the end of its length or you release it, and then you can chain it into another. I forget if it's you have to hit the Ash of War button again or if you have to hit a heavy attack. I think it's the Ash of War button again, but I could be wrong on that one, where you'll do like a 7-hit flurry really fast. The most important part is that it turns on a dime, that charge. And so you can just follow somebody and then release when you see their roll, and you'll kind of catch them at the end of it. I need to play with the timing, but that charge on the Falks, those front curved swords, it's got like 300 points of poise or something, so it's essentially hyper armor. It's insane. Some people are jokingly referring to it as by the name of sports cars and, you know, very powerful cars like Ferraris and things like that. It just cracks me up because it is like that, and it can turn on a dime. It's insane. It can do these little hairpin turns. What else is there? The Pata, for instance. The long katars. They are punch daggers or whatever, and you can follow people and have length on them. They're like straight sword length, but you get 2 of them, and the running light attack hits simultaneously. Super oppressive. There's so many great options to add to your retinue of things to use as a dex build. And I've talked about in the past how dex builds don't really jive with me, mostly because of their weapon choice. I'm starting to like great katanas a little bit. I'm not great with them. I just need to practice. But they seem phenomenal, especially this one, because this one has an Ash of War that will baby you if you're bad at the game and reward you for monkey mashing, and then you get hyper armor on top of that. It's got length, it's got many pokes. Why wouldn't you want to use it? And its R2, its charged attack, is the Claymore thrust, I believe. So I wonder if there's situations where you might be able to get decent counter damage on it. I'm sure it does piercing, it wouldn't surprise me. It is FromSoft's favorite. Is stuff from their homeland of faraway Japan. They love their katanas, and they love their great katanas, and of course, doggone it, they're going to be the best of the best. And I mean that mostly for great katanas. Katanas are alright, but it feels like they're getting a little replaced by all of the new stuff in the DLC. Hefty lightning pots. I just used one, and I think I have a clip maybe later that shows how great they really are. They chunk. Lightning is, of course, a fantastic damage type for anyone to use. And the hefty versions of pots are just great. They give anybody an artillery option. A bit of AoE, big chunk. You can use it as a punish on very slow animations. Like if somebody's using Malekith's Colossal Greatsword, for instance. They're locked in place for a moment. Hit him with a great pot or a hefty pot. And it works terribly well. There are probably more dexterity options I haven't thought about or haven't got to. I allocated my stats on this character so that I could use the Lita's Light Greatsword. Yeah, Light Greatsword. Use a Light Greatsword. The Milady will probably do great if you have enough faith. Tree Spear's really good. Lita's Light Greatsword is something I wanted to play with. Rolana's... I know it's like supposed to be like a paired Greatsword. Or sorry, paired Light Greatsword. But if you look at the weapons, and you notice that its L1 has an attack when you're using it in 2 hands, Rolana's Light Greatsword seems to be paired with a straight sword. It's curious, really. So, I'm not sure how that works out. I wanted to play with those weapons and see how they work, because Light Greatswords are new and neat. I just didn't get around to it. Why? We have this goofy Ferrari here. We have the Falks. And even though I'm an absolute dullard, no idea how to use it, I'm able to power through waves of gold, which should knock me flat on my back. I'm not saying it should, but it's what's expected. And kill that guy. It worked terribly well. And I'm not good at the timing. I've barely used the Falks at all, and these are some of my first attempts with the weapon. These are also some of my first attempts at invasions with the Rakshasa. I've used the other Greek Katana, the regular one, on strength build a little bit. And so it's not too new, but the other stuff is definitely new. When to use the Sword of Night as a roll catch, that's a swap I want to learn. It's just, dex builds are starting to be fun to me. It's heresy. It's not something I'm supposed to mutter aloud in mixed company by any means. I joke, but it's fun. And it's kind of devastating how scary it is. The Falks, for instance, it can just charge at you, and if you release at the right time, chunk of big damage. If they linger, you can get in that 7-hit string, as was shown on screen. What's the counter for that? I know its normal moveset is a curved sword, so usually range is your friend. Just outspace them. Curved swords don't have great range. And so while they have multi-hits, you might be able to whiff punish them. Given latency and, you know, how good of a player they are. But the Ash of War on the Falks, it's got range, it's got hyper armor. I don't know what you need to do when you see it coming. Because chances are, unless you're already a good distance away, you may not be able to outdistance it. You don't want to trade it. Maybe you jump it? If you have any ideas of what to do about the Falks, let me know. And then the Rakshasa, I've just learned to give those people a white berth. While the Ash of War is fast and it is oppressive, it doesn't chase you down quite like the Falks does, even though the running pokes are very strong on the Rakshas's normal moveset. The Ash of War does not just dominate a small space. But look at this fella. I'm able to go after him, hit him, and of course he powers through, right? But still, Maybe you just need more hyper armor. Maybe you just need to trade with something big. Not sure what that would be exactly, but it's a crazy thing. And look at that silly attack I got on the end there, because I'm trying to figure out what the follow-up is, because I'm getting my buttons all mixed up. But here's the Sword of Night. Pretty good for roll catches, because people see the blade move and they roll. At least I assume that's what happened. I could have been wrong. Maybe he just panic rolled because I was nearby. Who knows? But this invasion, pay close attention to this invasion. I am an absolute buffoon in this invasion, and I monkey mash with Weed Cutter, the Ashavor on the Rakshasa, and I am rewarded for it. And I want you to see that, because I was embarrassed after the fact. I'm like, I can't show this to people. I know I'm not good, but I don't want them to see how ugh this is. And then I looked at it a little more and thought about it mechanically. I was like, oh no, people need to know that Rakshasa will reward you for being stupid, that you really, really should give it respect, even in the hands of an idiot. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do nothing against it, or you can't do anything against it. But look at this. I'm able to mash and deal out huge damage to their whole party. I take a hit like an idiot, just counter hit. Oh, wow, I have won. Not through skill, but through superior numbers. My virtual 78 dexterity on the Rakshasa doing insane amounts of damage. And look at this. I keep mashing, and I win. He should have won. He peeled away most of my HP. He was doing better at the numbers game. I was able to power through it. I should have just rolled away as soon as I could. But no, I kept wanting to trade, because the Weed Cutter plants a seed in your mind. And it's the mind of the mind of a monkey masher. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. All in all, though, the next generation of dexterity builds are wild, and this is probably the most fun I've had with a dexterity build in Elden Ring's lifetime. And it's probably just because all the weapons are immensely strong. They all feel really good to use, and I don't know if I would propose any balance changes for them at this point in time. I'd probably need to play with them more, see them a little more. There are far wiser Elden Ring content creators out there who will know what needs to be adjusted, of course. But I will say, Rakshasa, Falx, Sword of Night, Claws of Night, Pada, they're all very, very strong. And it shows. Even a doofus like me can get several wins and kills, and they look okay. They look alright, but thanks for joining me today. I do want to play more on the dexterity build. Probably use Lita's light greatsword, maybe the normal Milady light greatsword, and some other things. Play around with more things. That's what I want to do, but again, thank you for joining me. It's good to be playing the game and enjoying it, and I'm tempted to try out some seamless co-op invasions. I just hope it doesn't end up with me punishing people who don't want invaders, and that's why they're doing seamless in addition to the quality of life changes. So I'll need to wrap my head around that one and figure out where the heck people are invading that want, or where the people are PvPing. But look at this, monkey mashing, almost kill my co-invader. I hope you have one fantastic of a day. You earned it. Ciao.